Hello. In this video, I will be showing the time-lapse of me building my tiny house, which is the little small cabin house shack kind of thing I've been making for about 6 months. It's why I haven't uploaded in quite a while, about 2 or 3 months. I've just been working on this. I've been working on it for about 6 months, but the last 3 months are really the most work that I've been putting into it. So that's where I have been. Not that I'm sure anyone really was worried. So I'm just going to talk about what I'm doing as the video goes on, because a couple of things that I do are kind of weird, kind of confusing, but yeah. So here I'm just using 2x4s to, in the last clip I was making the frames for the walls. Here I'm making the floor. Now, one mistake that I did make making the floor, the subframe floor, was putting the studs horizontally rather than vertically. I should have made them with their longer side perpendicular to the ground, you know, facing up, on their sitting on their shorter side, but it wasn't really too much of a problem. I was able to just put some cinder blocks under there, and that fixed the problem pretty well. Here I'm just putting up the frames with the help of my father. Another mistake that I made is I forgot to account for the wall that is currently furthest from the camera. I forgot to account for the width of that, so you can see on the edge that's closest to the camera, the frame kind of hangs off a little bit, but that's not too big of a problem. All I have to do is take off those closest vertical studs and pull them back a little bit, which I do here in a minute. What you're looking at now is probably the most expensive part of the build, was the actual studs, plywood, and just the structure itself. So here I'm now putting up the wood walls. This is a type of fiberboard that we had laying around the house from the old owners that used to live here. You can see I'm just kind of measuring where the studs are so that I can nail through the wood later, and I'm just nailing the wood panels onto the frame. I do this for quite a while around all the sides, and I was able to source all of the sub-paneling. Here I took apart about, I want to say about 200 pallets to make all of the siding for this house. And this is all just the planks from the pallets. So I just took apart each and every pallet from the place that I work, which is at a brewery. So we do get rid of a lot of pallets there, and I would just take them home and take them apart for a couple hours, you know, bang out all the nails and just nail them back onto the front. And then you can see here, it does skip forward a little bit. I just put on the roof frame, but I didn't record it because it's pretty similar to just the frame that I had for the walls and the floor, just at an angle. Here is what it looks like as of right now. You can see I did put on the door right over here. It is a door that we did get for free, that someone was getting rid of. It has a opaque window with steel wire in it, and it's a pretty heavy door, so it does insulate very well. You can see here I put on the metal roof, which is just completely sheet metal, and there is a sub roof, which is just fiberboard. And here are my goats. I do have 2 goats. That's Nicholas, and that's Finnegan. You can see I have fiberboard under the sheet metal rooftop up there, and as of me recording this voiceover, I've been living in my tiny house for about a month, and I have not had a single leak, so that worked very well. Now, a problem with the pallet wood siding is it doesn't look as good as siding would look if you were to have bought it from a construction store or a hobby store, stuff like that. But it was completely free, so that is a plus. I guess it is just a personal preference to a lot of people whether they want a siding that looks good versus how much it costs. So siding is actually very expensive to get. That's actually high quality. There's vinyl, asphalt, things like that. Different kinds of plastic, different kinds of metal, different kinds of pressure treated wood, stuff like that. But as of right now, I have not had any problems with the walls except for one tiny leak that I had fixed the first week I started living in there. And here's this funny meme, right? Kind of hilarious. Laugh at my jokes. Anyway, here I'm putting up a I don't know really what to call it, but I feel like there's some type of word for it, having like a title board or something. Just a big plank that I had put over my door, and I carved my logo into it. But here you can see me taking apart the pallets and burning the scrap. There was actually not a lot of scrap that this house produced. I think all of the scrap that I maybe actually did produce would fill up that trash can there, but a lot of the scrap that I did get that I couldn't actually use, I ended up finding a different way to use it in the house for reinforcements, different projects. Like later I do make an awning, and I use quite a lot of scrap wood for that. Mostly the little studs that you would see in a pallet in between the boards. I did produce an incredible amount of those since I took apart so many goddamn pallets. Here I am just gathering more 2x4s to make the awning, I believe. Oh no, the second floor foundation. Again, it was just 2x4s, and that was probably the most costly part. It was incredibly strong, and you can see I put in insulation. I didn't record it because it's kind of boring and really easy to do. Just staple it in there, pretty easy. And then I cut out the holes for the windows. The windows I also sourced from Craigslist. People were just getting rid of it, so I took apart the windows. It was a double window, and I just sealed them into the wall. And then I put up the ceiling, which was just yoga mats you saw, and now I'm just putting down the carpet, which had plastic sheeting under it. And then I did fix that seam in the carpet later, but I didn't record it. Carpet was also free you can find a lot of it on Craigslist. It's people just get rid of carpet all the time when they redo carpet in their house or anything. It's very easy to find. If you have a lot of patience, perseverance, you can source almost everything to make a house. And here I'm just using extra scrap wood to make a tiny little staircase that goes up to my front door. And here, yes, now I'm making the awning. It's just some plywood and some just regular old boards, scrap wood, that I screwed together, screwed onto the house through the wooden siding and into the studs, and just put on some sheet metal. And haven't had any problems with that yet. And I did paint it. Here are my goats now, much older. There's a cat. Put up a little bit of fencing, put some tan bark down in front, made a little camp area. Got solar powered lights right up above the campfire area. You can see the awning there. And put a floor mat down on the stairs, and here's the finished interior of the house. Got a couch, fridge, desk, little bucket of snacks, my desk, my TV, stereo, speakers, stuff like that. Here's a small ladder, also extra scrap wood, and mattresses. And here's a pillow with Nicolas Cage on it, a small LED lantern. And I've been sleeping up there for 3 months. Very comfortable, very cozy. It's very warm in the house because it's fully insulated. Here's the window with a jerry-rigged curtain on it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. There's my tiny house. Bye.